Nick Saban, freshly minted national champion again. He joins us on the show. If I could give you a day off today, vacation day, would you take it?
I'd like to have a vacation day for everybody on our staff, to be honest with you. I mean, when you play in this game, this time of the year now, the way the college calendar is a dead period in recruiting. So if you play on January 1st or 2nd, you got, 10, 12 days before you have to go recruiting. You can do a little quality control work. You get a few days off. And when you play in this game, you don't. And we traveled home yesterday and got to meet today and, go recruit tomorrow. So I think everybody on our staff would like to have a day off.
How would you tweak the college playoff bowl system?
I don't know that I have the answer, to that. I just think that, my concern was when we started the playoff, how it would affect the other bowl games. And, obviously all the interest goes to where the champion's going to come from in the playoffs. And, the other bowls sort of don't get the same attention or people don't have the same interest, which I think, probably affects the importance to the players. And I don't think that's a good thing. I just think that it's a tough scenario trying to make those two things coexist. I think it's a tough scenario to ask players to go stay for a week someplace and play a playoff game, come home for 4 or 5, 6 days, go someplace else, stay for 3 or 4 days and play another game. So I think there's some things that people should really look at and, determine, what's best for players and fans alike. I'm not saying I'm against the playoff. I think it's a good thing for college football. And, but I don't know how to answer those questions, but I do think we need to look into it.
Give me the play you will remember from the national title game.
Well, I think probably the onside kick is the play that really changed the momentum of the game, which, was something that we really needed at that time in the game. I think we were a little gassed on defense. We were struggling, to stop them. Score was tied. So that was really a big play in the game. To execute it as well as we did, the kicker made a great kick, and Marlon made a great catch, and it was hit the dead spot perfect. So I think then the fact that we scored a couple plays later, I think that really changed the momentum of the game.
Take me on the sidelines. How do you come to that conclusion? Now is when we do it.
Well, I think it was really a lot of feel for what I just explained. The fact that, I didn't feel great about the momentum of the game. I thought we needed to do something to change that. We look at these things going into every game, and we have a plan, whether it's field goal fake or a punt fake or an onside kick or a surprise onside kick, of how can we do this best based on the way they line up. And that was what we went into the game with. It's what we practiced, and players executed it perfectly, and it worked. Now, if it didn't work, I'd probably get criticized for making that call, but that's the risk-reward. And it's calculated when you think you have players that can execute, and, the way they're lined up, you think there's a great possibility for it to work.
He's Nick Saban, national title winner, joining us, Dan Patrick Show. The rumors will always continue, Coach, when you're this good. Why do they persist that the NFL could be there for you?
Well, I think that because I was in the NFL before for, I think, 8 years, a couple years as an assistant, 4 years as a coordinator, a couple years as a head coach. I think you always ask the question from their perspective is, where do you go to find head coaches? That's kind of the top league in the world. So there's no next league to go get an assistant to come and be the head coach at this level. Where in college, you can go to the NFL and get a coordinator or former head coach or, somebody that's done really well, and they can become a college coach, or you look for people that have experience. So I think they're always searching for guys that have been head coaches that have experience in the league. But, I've kind of made my way here as a college coach for a long time and really happy with that.
We assume there's unfinished business. Is that fair to assume, whether you act on it or not, with the NFL?
Well, I don't know why anybody would assume that. I think that, I think there was a time for me, and that's when I went to the Miami Dolphins, left LSU, that because I've been in the NFL before, I wanted to be a successful college coach, and sort of the pinnacle of success would be, go to the NFL and try to win a championship in the NFL. And I did that and learned a lot about myself and some of the things that are difficult to change in the NFL. And I'm talking about systematically in terms of whether it's salary cap issues that you inherit or, draft pick, whatever it might be. Where in college it seemed like you could control your own destiny a lot better by working hard at recruiting, have a good recruiting staff, do a good job of developing players, which I felt my impact was a little bit more significant, as a college coach, because you could do those things a little easier than the rules of parity in the NFL. So I've been happy doing that. I think my wife's happy to, doing that, being a part of the community here. So we don't have the urge right now to do anything other than, be here in Alabama.
You're creeping up on Bear Bryant. When did you first learn of Bear Bryant?
When I was a kid, I was a quarterback in Pee Wee ball in high school and all that. So, I always liked Joe Namath, and Alabama was one of my favorite teams when Joe Namath was playing here. So I was probably, 12 years old then or something, 10 or 12 years old. So I knew of Bear Bryant then. And by the way, I don't think there's any comparison is worthy because, to me, Bear Bryant was an outstanding coach for a long, long time. And I think his consistency and performance over time and the changes that he made to adapt to, the culture of the game, whether it was, be a passing team, be a running team, be a wishbone team, be whatever kind of team he needed to be to have his players have the best chance to be successful. The things that he did to change the culture of the South, I think the guy was the most significant coach of all time, and he always will be. And I just don't, I don't see why anybody should make any comparison at all. And I don't think it's worthy from my standpoint, to be honest with you.
Did you wear number 12? Did you have white shoes like Joe Namath did?
I did.
Did you have long hair?
I did.
Is that where the comparison stopped right there? That you look like Namath, you just didn't play like Namath?
Well, obviously not.
But
now Joe's a part of our family. He's a part of our tradition. He comes back to Alabama to golf outings, and he's a great supporter, and really. I think that's the great thing about being in a place like this. So many people relate to the tradition, the pride they have in being a part of that tradition. And when you have guys like Joe Namath, and I don't know, we must have had 25 players on the sidelines Monday night that played here, and we're proud of it. That sort of that spirit and enthusiasm is, something that's hard to put a price tag on.
Speaking of price tag, Powerball is $1.5 billion. I saw where Alabama doesn't have Powerball. Would you like to? You know what? I'll pony up $2 and get you a Powerball ticket if you'd like to join us here on the show. We're buying some Powerball tickets in the drawings tonight.
Yeah, well, hey, I'd appreciate it. I didn't even realize that the Powerball was that significant. And
if you won, though,
earlier today,
would you stop coaching if you won?
I don't think that that the money that you won at Powerball would make a determination for me as to whether I wanted to continue to do what I do or not. I think that, if you enjoy what you're doing and you get positive self-gratification from it, that why would you stop just because you had more money? I don't think that those things really change how you feel about yourself or what you're accomplishing or how you're affecting other people. So I don't think the money would make that decision or determination for me.
Well, congrats, and we'll include you in the Powerball. We'll let you know if we win. And safe travels there. Take a moment to enjoy it, Coach. Well deserved.
Okay, Dan. Appreciate you. Thank you, man. Have a good day.
Nick Saban.